right. Hey. Freeze it. Oh.
Россия, суженная наша держава, Россия, любимая наша страна, могучая воля, великая слава, твое достояние над всех времена. Славься, Отечество, наше свободное, братских народов союз вековой. Невиданная мудрость народная, славься, страна, мы гордимся тобой, от южных морей до полярного края раскинулись наши леса и поля. Одна ты на свете, одна ты такая, хранимая Богом, родная земля. Славься, Отечество, наше свободное, братских народов союз вековой. Невиданная мудрость народная, славься, страна, мы гордимся тобой, широким восторгом от жизни, гордющие нам открывают гора. Нам силу дает наша верность отчизне, так было, так есть и так будет всегда. Славься, Отечество, наше свободное. Star-Spangled Banner, oh, long may it wave, o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave. Oh, thus be it ever when freemen shall stand between their loved foes and the wars their sole nation. Blessed with victory and peace, may the heaven-rescued land praise the power that has made and preserved us a nation. Then conquer we must when our cause it is just, and this be our motto: in God is our trust, and the Star-Spangled Banner in triumph shall wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Order. Oh.
Good morning, everyone. First of all, I want to wish everyone a belated Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. For those that have been with us the last few years, it looks like we have a little bit of heat wave as opposed to the snow and the frigid conditions of last year. I want to say thank you for all of you showing up today. Father Fensick, Mr. Chumakov, Mr. Falou, and Chief Weaver of the Chief of the Department. I also welcome Diane Saar and the members of the Schiller Institute and the New York City Chorus.
Dear friends, I also join the wishes of all the best in the new year. But we have gathered to pay memory to the big tragedy. I want to say a couple of words about the tragedy and about how life continues. This big tragedy of the flight of 25th of December 2 years ago, when the whole ensemble, Alexandrov, number of journalists, but not the least, humanitarian work and philanthropist Елизавета Glinka, the head of the foundation. They were all on board that flight, and they all perished. It was a huge blow to the Russian people, not only to the Russian people, also to Syrian people and to a lot of people around the world. They perished, and it was the morning day was the next day, on 26th of December, and this event is commemorated. We want to thank the American people, the Schiller Institute, the fire department of Bayonne. In these trying times, when our relations face now, we want to thank especially you for this event, for this memorial event. I want to say that life continues. I want you to know that the ensemble Alexandrov, who inspired Russian people not only to die but also to win great victories, it still functions. It resumed its work with new people, fully operational. Also want to tell you that this foundation of Елизавета Glinka also works with some of people from the old team. I also want to tell you that in Syria we continue to step up our efforts so that we have to implement the decisions of the Sochi National Syrian Dialogue Congress. We step up efforts to launch the political process and the constitutional committee, because it's very important for Syria to resume try to get to its normal life, to reestablish its sovereignty, and we praise this moment so that we can share so that we can pay tribute to all the perished. May their souls rest in peace. We thank you again. Thank you for your attention.
Now, Mr. Fallouf, the Minister of Council from Syria, would like to say a few words.
Thank you, good morning. It's my pleasure to be here today on behalf of Ambassador Bashar Jafari to participate in the memorial ceremony of the tragedy death of the member of great Alexandrov Ensemble on their way to support the Syrian people. I would like to thank the Schiller Institute for organizing this event. This tragedy is not only a loss for the Russian people, but also for the Syrian people and all the rest of the world. As they played music, spread a message of peace. The group was on its way to Syria to perform on Christmas and spread joy and peace. I would like to take this opportunity to thank the governor of Russian Federation for supporting our government in its effort to combat armed terrorist group and reinstate security in my country. We pray that the souls of innocent musicians rest in peace, and we will always remember them in our hearts. Thank you.
Father Fensick is going to say the invocation.
The Church teaches us that as long as we keep a person's memory alive, they are still with us. And so the chorus will never die. Those who are with them shall live forever, and we commemorate them with this prayer. O God of spirits and of all flesh, who has conquered Satan and vanquished death, and granted life to your world, Lord, give rest to the soul of all of these departed servants in a peaceful, serene, luxuriant place, which all pain, sorrow, and sighing are absent. As a good and gracious God who loves mankind, do you forgive all transgressions committed by them in word, deed, or thought, voluntarily or through human frailty. For there is no man living who does not sin. You alone are without sin. Your truth is truth and eternity, and your word alone reality. For you are the resurrection, the life, and the repose of all of your departed servants, O Christ our God. And we render you glory together with the eternal Father, your holy, gracious, and life-creating Spirit, now and ever and forever. Amen. In blessed repose, grant eternal rest, O Lord, to the souls of your departed servants, and make their memory to be eternal. Eternal memory, eternal memory, blessed repose, eternal memory. Vihichnaya pamyat, vihichnaya pamyat, blажeni покой, вечная им память.
Thank you, Father. Chief of the Bayonne Fire Department, Keith Weaver, would like to say a few words also.
Good morning, everyone. I am grateful for this opportunity to say a few words of the lives lost on Christmas Day 2016. Today we pause to honor and remember the tragic loss of the Alexandrov Ensemble after spreading Christmas cheer while on their humanitarian mission. The loss of this extremely talented group was the loss for the entire globe, and I am honored to be speaking at this fitting site as this Teardrop Memorial was donated to our city from our neighbors in Russia. This gift is a reminder that although we may be separated by nationality, we are united in humanity. As brothers and sisters, we share in your grief, but we also share in your hope for a brighter future for mankind. And may all the lives lost that day rest in peace. Thank you.
We are here once again to give our condolences and sympathy to the families of the Alexandrov Ensemble and to the people of Russia. Everyone here proves, I believe, that this small remembrance shows our humanity towards one another, and God knows we can use more of it. Once again, as Chief said, it is fitting we are at the 9/11 Teardrop Memorial, since the creator of this monument was the Russian sculptor Zora Terzatelli. In the darkness after 9/11, this monument helped to bring peace and the light of hope to the many people who visited. We now wish to pay that token of gratitude back to the Russian people and the families of the Alexandrov Ensemble. On a personal level, I am honored to be here today, as I worked during 9/11 at Ground Zero, and this monument means much to me. May the serenity and hope that I feel when I am here be conveyed back to your people and the families that have suffered such a terrible loss. Music has meaning, and this quote from Billy Joel conveys it better than anything that I can say. Quote, "I think music in itself is healing. It's an explosive expression of humanity. It's something we are all touched by. No matter where we are from, everyone loves music." End quote. It is at times like this that we are neither Russians nor Americans, but human beings who genuinely wish peace and happiness to one another. I will now try to convey my thoughts in Russian, so please bear with me. Naša любовь и молитвы с вами. Крайне ваш что. Thank you all for coming today. We appreciate your time and effort, and hopefully next year it'll be just a touch warmer again. So, God bless everybody. Thank you. Oh, sorry, Diane. I'm sorry, Diane's got to speak.
Okay. I would like to convey a special message from Helga Zepp-LaRouche, the founder of the Schiller Institute, and also just say myself as the founder and co-director with John Segerson of the Schiller Institute New York City Chorus. When I heard the terrible news of the plane crash on Christmas of 2016, it really was like a punch in the gut, because for people who are involved in the process of chorus, you know that something about the chorus is that it is greater than the sum of its parts. And what the Schiller Institute has been dedicated to for several decades now is that mankind should function more as a chorus, that our various nations as the different voices have their unique role to play, but they come together in harmony in something which is much greater than any one of the individual parts. So Mrs. LaRouche says the following: 2 years after the tragic death of the 64 members of the Alexandrov Choir Ensemble on their way to Syria on December 25th, 2016, that country is now almost entirely freed from the terror of ISIS, due to the determined intervention of Russia in collaboration with the Syrian army. This liberation demonstrates what human beings can do when they unite with a good plan and for a just cause. And that, as Friedrich Schiller would say, even the most tyrannical foe can be subdued. As now there will be a more hopeful period in the history of Syria, with the economic reconstruction and the return of millions of refugees, the memory of the Alexandrov Choir Ensemble will be written into the history of Syria and should be celebrated every year with beautiful concerts in many cities, celebrating the Russian-Syrian friendship and the immortality of great art and the artists who devote their lives to the ennoblement of mankind. And I would just like to close with some words that keep coming into my head, which were immortalized by Handel in his Messiah, but which come from the Bible, which is that death is swallowed up in victory. Thank you.
Hang on! Let cease! Back! Up!
Thank you all. That concludes the ceremony.
Good.
Get some non-R.
Oh, he liked it very much. I think that'd be it.
Thank you. Thank you. Here's the copy of
Guys and girls, yes. I didn't do anything.